down here, and let's see what I can do. Click on the loudspeaker, then write. So I'm going to write here. And the correct answer would be Guten Tag, hello, good day.
Hallo.
And if it's correct, it's like this. And then hello is hello, and I'm going to write it wrong now. And you'll see what happens. And when I enter this, nothing happens. So I know it's wrong. So
Hallo.
I can listen to
Hallo.
it and hopefully come up with the right answer. And if I click on that, it still doesn't like it because it has to be capitalized. So it's kind of picky. And that's what,
Auf Wiedersehen.
as soon as it's correct, I get the answer there. But again, I can, if I want to, find out what all my answers are. So it's not a forbidding program. It will tell me what my answer should be if I don't get it the first time around. So the Tell Me More program is a very lenient program, but it's very repetitive. And it doesn't punish you for doing something wrong. It lets you exercise more. And up here on the right, you see how many exercises there are. There are 2 out of 5, so I can do 3, 4, 5 times the same type of activity. If I want to go back home and choose other programs, I can do that. Go back into my first lesson, like the way I just did. I can do that. And skip around any which way I want. So all of these activities for lesson 1 would probably last easily for somebody who is the average learner, probably 6-7 hours. If somebody is a slow learner and wants to do more and more and more work, it could be 10 hours. It doesn't matter because he can repeat it as often as he wants. And after you've done all of that activity, let's say 6 hours for the first 10 days, then you would be able to take you back to your Blackboard. You finished with all your TMM work. You finished all of your TMM work, and now you're ready to take the exam in Blackboard. And on Blackboard, we go into the exams, and you will have, let's say, a typical exam that is very much geared towards the work you just finished on TMM. Folder is empty because the course is finished, so I have to go into my control panel and pretend that this course is still active, so I will go into my course exams and I will turn it on, I will modify it and allow it to be taken now. So I will set up, today is, let's say, I will open it up from August 24 until September 11, 2009, and I should be able to see it now. I have to click on these 2 things here. Okay. Submit that. I basically make the exam available, and if I go on my exam now, on my exam list, I should be able to see it in my folder where it says course exams. There it is. And so this is the way it looks. I would be asked, let's say, conjugate as in the example. Ich sein, I am. And you have du, so you type in du bist, you are. And that would be the format for that. So there are some writing exercises or exam questions. There are some questions that involve multiple choice, and let's just pretend it's this. There are some questions that relate to true and false. The typical test format that lets it get graded automatically. Now, in the German language, there are some special symbols that don't exist in English. One has to be aware of that when one designs these tests, because Blackboard doesn't have necessarily an easy way for students to type in special symbols. In the Asian languages, you might have to look at ways and means to make Blackboard accommodate so students can write in an Asian language rather than a Germanic language or a Romance language. Can be done. It's just a question of manipulating Blackboard to be able to do that. Yeah, and then one submits that and gets immediately the correct feedback, and it tells me what my results are. I have done 1 out of 20, not so good. I can take it in 25 minutes or 40 minutes, I think it is here, and I can take it 3 times in a row, and the scores are average. So my first score was rather bad, so even if I do a 20-point perfect score at the end, it still will be averaged out. It's not so good. Yeah, and after I'm done with my exam, I go to the discussion board, and on the discussion board, I enter my topic, and I would say something about my experience. And here are some examples of people that have talked about their experience on lesson 1, and they would, let's say, describe their experiences. And I occasionally come in and say, good work, interesting question, and I insert myself into that discussion. But primarily, it is the students talking about themselves and their experience on Blackboard. So let's just pick up one of those commentaries, and let's see what they say. You can take any of, you have some questions here. Let's just take one here and look at Stacy, who might like it or might not. And she talks about it, and I decided to take a German course online. I was a little nervous, because anyone knows that even trying to learn a language in a classroom setting is very difficult. After completing the first lesson, though, I feel more confident going into the test. I think that the TMM exercise is a very, very big help. I was worried about pronunciation and not getting enough practice. But the TMM exercises make sure that you get plenty of practice with pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. I decided to start taking German after completing 2 years of Spanish because I needed something new. I felt like I was taking Spanish just because it is a very common language in the United States. I was surprised to learn in lesson 1 that German is a lot more common than I thought in the United States. There's more than 1 million people speaking German at home. I believe that it will be very useful to learn German. I also found it interesting that German tourists are the largest non-English speaking visitors to the United States each year. So you see, people are talking about their language experience with Tell Me More, but they also talk about their cultural experience from reading the introduction to the lesson, which is up there, and some of their experiences roaming around on the German-speaking net. Yeah, that concludes the activity. So it starts with announcements. You get information from me every day or every second day. Then people start looking at the German lessons. They read those, and they get information about different items pertaining to the lessons as they are seeing them on Tell Me More. After they study the lesson, they get asked to take the vocabulary game where they practice the vocabulary. Then they get into the Tell Me More portal where they practice the language.